The Subversion, which is about a girl who is created genetically engineered to have superpowers, and struggles to survive. In the middle of the night, a massacre takes place in a lab. The general manager Dr. Beck tells her men to make sure to ruin their brains, or they can't be destroyed. Getting back, she asks the security manager Mr. Choi about the girl, but he says she was too strong to stop. Satisfied to hear that, she says she's almost a perfect model unlike him, and orders him to report her as decommissioned to HQ, because she'll die of her brain problem soon anyway. Deep in the mountains, preparing to feed his cows, a man finds a girl covered in blood in his yard. He takes her into his house and gives her medical help. However, she remembers nothing about herself even after regaining her consciousness. The man and his wife decide to adopt her, naming her Ja Yoon. 10 years later, she grows up to be smart, pretty and good-hearted, but her mother gets dementia. The family feels the pinch because the cattle price continues to free fall, and moreover, she gets severe headaches on and off. One day, her best friend Myung-hee suggests that she attend TV singing competition, whose grand prize is $500,000, which is enough to help her family. She attends it and passes the regional preliminaries. Watching her on TV, her parents are delighted to see her grown up so pretty and talented, but when she shows her magic skills, her mother gets worried that she'll get hurt by people that don't leave anyone alone who are different from them. A few days later, Ja Yoon and Myung-hee get on the train for Seoul to attend the next round. Hungry, as soon as Myung-hee takes out boiled eggs, Ja Yoon scarfs down them. And then a young man giggles in front of Ja Yoon. He says he knows Ja Yoon, and congratulates on having her own name instead of being called numbers like him. He calls her witch, but she's sure he has mistaken her for someone else. Then he menaces her to see if she's pretending to remember nothing, but she freezes shedding tears and he just leaves. Anyway, she arrives in the TV station in time and sings on the stage, which Dr. Beck and Mr. Choi watch on TV. Beck is amazed to see her grown up just like a proud mother. Ja Yoon also passes this round, and excited, hurries back home, but then her headache starts again. In fact, she has a problem with her brain, which she keeps a secret. She has to find her birth parents to get a bone marrow transplant, or she may die in a month. Now her headache makes her nose bleed. Getting off the train and waiting for the bus, she's approached by the young man again. He says to hurry home, because her parents are old enough to die at any moment. She rushes home, telling Myung-hee to call her father, who is a police officer. While the young man and his fellows keep an eye on Ja Yoon's house, Myung-hee's father comes and asks them to show their ID cards. After a while, getting out of a taxi, Ja Yoon notices the police car empty and rushes into her house, but her father is playing chess with Myung-hee's father. Getting back, Myung-hee's father says the strange men are Americans, whose records are clean. He asks if she knows them and she says they've mistaken her for someone else. That night, the strange men break into Dr. Ko's place, and saying he should have accepted the previous suggestion, they kill him as well as his family. On the other hand, Dr. Beck tells Mr. Choi to take a break and return to HQ later when she calls him. Then he asks how she will deal with the girl, arguing that the girl be killed ASAP because she's not controllable, but she tells him not to care about the girl, who is her side's property. He meets another researcher, and reports that Dr. Beck has brought in the strange men from HQ, and is disposing of every researcher who participated in her program. The researcher allows Dr. Choi to kill the girl, but makes sure he brings him her brain, which is needed to cure the previous generation's problem before the girl. Myung-hee has dinner with Ja Yoon's family, but her mother doesn't recognize the girls, which means her dementia is getting worse. That night, Ja Yoon gets a headache, when suddenly she feels her parents are in danger. Running to them, she's caught by strangers and Myung-hee has already been caught. The leader says hello to her, calling her witch too, but she says she's not the one they're looking for. Telling her to prove not to be the one and getting Myung-hee hurt, he orders to fire. At that moment, she becomes someone else, and handles all the armed men with ease. She strikes the leader in the face, shouting she's not the one and breaking his head, and kills him, but after she comes to her senses, she gets panicked with what she's done, and Myung-hee is frightened of her now. Then the strange young man comes in clapping, thinking she has recovered her memories, but she just keeps asking who they are and what they want from her. He tells her to come with them to get her memories back, or they will kill her parents as well as her friend and all the other villagers. Myung-hee tries to stop her, but asking Myung-hee to take care of her parents, she follows him. Mr. Choi calls the leader and he doesn't answer it, which makes him notice the girl taken to Beck. He calls all the other field agents together and heads for Beck. The young man says, even before escaping, Ja Yoon must have chosen her parents, who lost their son and grandson in the accident and chose to live in the middle of nowhere, but she answers nothing. He takes her to a rundown building deep inside a secluded place. Dr. Beck is delighted to see Ja-yoon come back. She is taken to a place like an operating room and handcuffed. Dr. Beck welcomes her, but she asks why they're doing this to her, so Dr. Beck has her injected, which makes her recover her memories. Now she remembers that she and other kids were created genetically modified and trained to have superpowers. They were the second generation, whose abilities were improved extremely, which made HQ doubt their controllableness, so Dr. Beck was ordered to decommission them all, but Ja-yoon was too strong to be destroyed and succeeded in escaping. When Ja-yoon's headache starts, Dr. Beck says her brain's excessive activation makes her have superpowers and also headaches, and if it's not treated ASAP, she'll die at any moment with her brain exploding. Ja-yoon bleeds out of her nose and mouth and starts to lose her consciousness, so Dr. Beck has her injected with blue serum, which makes her completely fine with using her power to the fullest, but lasts only a month, when Ja-yoon's demeanor changes. Then the young man rushes to Ja-yoon, saying she wasn't found by them but made them find her. Now Ja-yoon says hello to Dr. Beck, frees herself, and handles the man in the room. Dr. Beck releases nerve gas to her, but using her power freely, she goes to Dr. Beck. Ja-yoon never lost her memories and tracked down Dr. Beck to solve her brain problem herself, which was impossible, so she showed herself on TV to make them come find her. Shooting at Dr. Beck's leg, she claims the formula to make the serum. Meanwhile, Mr. Choi and his agents barge in and confront Dr. Beck's men, who are the second generation like Ja-yoon, so fast and strong, and he shouts to his agents to shoot their heads. Going to get the serum with dragging Dr. Beck, Ja-yoon's attacked by the young man. Now she also says hello to him and he says to be careful because he's not the same as before. However, she's in a class of her own, who is too fast to hit and too strong to hurt any. She shoots Dr. Beck, who is trying to escape, and tells her to wait. Now they start to fight with guns. He tries to shoot her head but she blocks it with her hand and flings him against the wall, which makes him not able to fight back. At that moment, she's shot by Mr. Choi and Dr. Beck shouts to him to shoot their heads, but he shoots her, saying she's so noisy. Then Ja-yoon appears in Mr. Choi's back, so he attacks her but is no match for her. She breaks his hand, choking her, breaks his leg, and wrings his neck. The young man has recovered and tells her where the rest of the serum is, but she wants to know where it is made, which he doesn't answer. Telling her to win if she wants to know it, he tries to shoot her head, but can't move his body now and is stabbed by her. Now he's wounded too much to recover and fight back again, so collapses. She asks where the serum is made, but now that she can't live as Ja-yoon anymore, he wonders why she needs it, but she asserts she will live as Ja-yoon. She asks where it is made again, but he doesn't answer, so she shoots him. Taking the serum and exploding the building, she goes to the hospital where her mother is. She gives her father the serum and tells him to inject her mother to stop the progression of her dementia. Her father thinks she's the one who needs it most, but she says 2 vials are enough. Her father confesses he used to want to send her back, because she killed the cows and dogs in the night when young, but her mother rejected it, saying all kids make trouble, and she would become a lovely girl, if they loved her unconditionally. He tells her to come back early. Myung-hee in the same hospital feels Ja-yoon is near and ruses to the window. They wave to each other. 3 months later, Ja-yoon appears in front of Beck's twin sister, who gives her plenty of serum, but she wants a fundamental solution, which only Beck's twin knows. Then a girl whose face is covered in scars approaches her, and Ja-yoon threatens to blow up her head if she touches her. For more videos like this,